Hi, this is Ron and Rhonda with an Apostolic and Prophetic Viewpoint. I'm so glad you decided to tune in with us. We have an exciting show for you today. We just want to take the time just to say we're so excited. We're so excited to be able to just unveil the revelation and the things that God has given us to share with you guys, our viewers, my co-host, my lovely wife, Rhonda Augustus. Just celebrated our 16th year of marriage.
16 years. Wonderful year.
Just on yesterday. Wow, I'm so excited. You know, we want to get right into today's show. And the topic of our show today is a house divided against itself will not stand. So if you have your word, give you a few moments. If you don't, go get it, dust it off, find it wherever it is. I pray it's somewhere close by you, because this show is going to be like none other.
I hope it don't have dust on it.
I hope not either.
Oh my gosh.
That's a sign you ain't reading it if it do. We want to go to Mark chapter 3, verses 23. And we're going to give you a few moments to go to it and find it. We are excited. This show is going to be like none other that you may have seen or witnessed. We're going to deal with some practical issues, some very relevant issues, some issues that most people may not want to tread on. But we are like eagles. We're going to soar where no man has soared before. And so you have it, Mark chapter 3, verse 23. So he says, so he called them to himself and said to them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? If a kingdom is divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house is divided against itself, that house cannot stand. This is where we want to draw our topic from today. A house divided against itself cannot stand. And we're talking about marriages. Satan has devised a plan against every home, against every marriage, to destroy it, to take it out. And God has given me and my wife insight and revelation on to help you out of 16 long years of marriage. God has given us some very profound information, strategies of how we can make it. And so one of the things we want to focus on is, how do you not let the enemy destroy what God has joined together?
Yes.
Baby, you got something you want to jump in right on that?
You know, it's very interesting about a house, because there's so many different characteristics and personalities and different people that play the role of your house. Sometimes you have single parent households, sometimes you have married with extended family in your household. But when it comes down to the core of what we're talking about, we're talking about the marriage and how it centers around the core of your house. So you may be in a marriage that has separated. You may be in a marriage where you're living in the same house, but you're operating directly opposite of each other. You operated independently of each other. So what we want to do is we want to speak toward those things and give you biblical basis and practical, biblical, real world points of views of how you can take the Word of God, institute it into your household, and operate the way God says that your house should operate.
And with that said too, I want us to really focus on, the house. The house is a place of comfort, safety, where we should be able to express our concerns, our views, our differences. But Jesus said, what God had joined, let no man put asunder. And see, and this is one of the things that we're wrestling with. We have so many outside opinions of other people. And this is one of the things that we must address and we must deal with, because how do you have a Christian marriage and safeguard it? You safeguard it by the Word of God.
Yes.
You have to be willing to do what the Word says.
Yes.
And this is one of the issues that so many Christian marriages and homes that they're battling with. How do the two become one?
Yes, yes.
And me and my wife, we faced this struggle. Just like any else couple or married couple being raised in two different backgrounds. You got one with this maybe view of marriage and this one with this view of marriage. But Jesus says the two shall become one. So that means you got to begin to abandon some things and and begin to allow your marriage to be shaped by the word of God. Because let's be truthful, some of the stuff that we may have been told while we was growing up that didn't line up with the word of God, we have to learn to let it go. Yes. Because it will be a instrument or a tool in the hands of the enemy. Right. And and just for instance, you may have been raised in a house where your mama did all of the cooking, and you may have married a man that he may like to do the cooking, and so you got to get a balance. Yes. You got to do and find what works in your house, and what happens. And one of the things that me and my wife as pastors and have counseled so many people, we find so often they try to drag their mom into their house, or their dad into their house. Yes. And you can't do that. You got to begin to, and the last thing you want to do is throw up your dad or your mom. Well, my daddy did this, or my mama did that, and you're making a mistake, and you're really becoming rather allowing the enemy to use you, and the things that you have raised up seeing, you can't allow that to become something that would ultimately destroy your marriage. Yeah. Let's talk about some of the things that, and be, I guess, specific on some of the devices that the enemy uses to divide. And if any of these areas begin to really speak to you and your house and some of the circumstances and situations that you're dealing with, you might want to tune in and have your spouse to tune in. But let's talk about money. Yeah. Money is a dividing factor. Yeah. As a matter of fact, statistics show that money plays one of the #1 reasons why marriages rather, divide. Yeah. So you have money issues. Yeah. #2, another issue that we have is sex. Yeah. Sex in the home and being in agreement on how our sex life should be. Sex is very important in a marriage, but you'll be amazed that people, before they get married, they're very sexually active, and then after they get married, for some reason, the sex fizzles out. Is because I believe that, what we view as a Christian marriage and our sex life, we don't have a real root or real ground system when it comes to it. The third thing, the children. Wow. The children and parenting. Do you know how many marriages have split up just because they have differences on how we should raise our children? Yes. And I want to say one that I really believe is going to be a very controversial one: submitting. Oh, submission. And this one here is, I would say, it has to be the #1 tool of the enemy, because what you have to understand as a married couple, when you're submitted to one another, and you hear so much on this, and I'll tell you this I'm excited because we got so much, and we're not going to be able to cram it in a time restraint. So we're going to have to come back. Yes, you're going to definitely have to come back. Yes. We're going to have to break these up. Right. And we're going to deal with, I guess, out of the 4, we talked about money and sex and children and submitting. Let us just briefly talk about, I want to talk about submitting, because it's a very controversial subject. Now don't turn off the channel, because women, I'm telling you right now, that this is an issue that we hate to hear, but it's so very important. It's not just a woman's job to submit, but there are areas in your household where men must submit. Exactly. And I believe that if we all come together as one and we play our roles the way that we're supposed to, when it comes to submission in marriage, one, because the Bible talks about one submitting to another. Yeah, exactly. Okay, then you won't be offended. But if any area in your life feels pricked when you hear the word of God, that is the area God wants to deal with.